Hi everybody. Today I am talking about affirmations for caregivers and people managing their own health problems at the request of a follower of my YouTube channel who requested this. So if it's your first time here, know that you can request video topics below. If you are a repeat visitor, request video topics below. So before I create this affirmation video, which will be coming directly after this one, I thought it was important to talk about affirmations in 3 areas. What are they? Why might caregivers and people managing health issues want to incorporate affirmations into their day? And number 3, how to make affirmations work for you so that you find the experience positive and not frustrating, as many people tell me that it can be. I will also talk about the 3 stages of putting affirmations to work for you and give 3 specific examples that you might want to try if you're new to the idea of reciting affirmations. So stay with me all the way to the end because I'm going to give you a lot of information that can bring hope, help, motivation, inspiration, positive progress into your life. So what on earth is an affirmation? Well, an affirmation is something that you say. It's a statement that confirms or reinforces a truth or a belief that you have. And the goal is to move thoughts up here and actions in a more positive direction. The critical part here is used to move thoughts and actions into a positive direction. So most people think of affirmations as, wow, I don't want all of this stuff in my life, I want this. So I'm going to start saying more positive things. Affirmations, when you think of it, are a lot like daily prayer. So if you don't like the word affirmation, substitute it with prayer, or substitute it with beliefs, or substitute it with daily meditations. You can really call affirmations anything you like. So for caregivers, for people with health problems and any problem in life, the benefit of having a short list of daily affirmations that you read once in the morning, once in the evening, maybe in the middle part of your day, maybe immediately when something happens to you. The goal is to bring that hope into your life and to help you manage and navigate through difficult situations by saying, you know what? I have this. I can deal with this. Because as you know, being a caregiver or having a health diagnosis that you worry about every day or that you have to deal with, it's not easy. It is no piece of cake. Affirmations can be this stepping stone, this stepping block to creating a more positive mindset so that you can manage through all of these continual ups and downs and back and forth and right and left, all the twists and turns of being a caregiver or managing your health problems. But I will say, creating the right affirmation for you can be a little tricky. The tricky part is to make sure that you believe in the affirmation, which if you worry all the time, you experience anxiety, you have doubt in yourself, you lack the confidence to believe, then creating affirmations may be a little tricky and it may take you a little more work to see results. So stay with me while I offer just a quick introduction for those of you who are here the first time. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. I'm Pamela D Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker who helps adults and caregivers plan for and work through health, healthcare, financial, money, legal aspects of caregiving, including family, caregiving relationships, and truly everything in between. You can learn more about me and my professional background by scrolling below this video. I've been doing this for almost 25 years. There are links to my website and other helpful information. Please do help me and everyone else here on YouTube by liking this video, follow my channel, comment even if it's only to say, hey, thanks for the video, One thank you helps so many other people find their way here. You are also welcome to share your story and comment. I do respond to every single video. So a big thank you in advance. So let's return to why affirmations can be a little bit tricky. As I mentioned, you have to believe in your affirmation or in your prayer or in your meditation. And this has to be true, and you have to actually believe that you can achieve it, right? So you don't want to affirm something that you think is never going to happen, because it won't. So if you're in the 50 to 60%, I'm pretty sure I can do this category, that's okay. Because then what you do is you use this affirmation or this daily prayer to bring the truth and the belief into reality by stating it every day through repetition, through consistent action every day. So simple things, simple affirmations. I am happy. I am peaceful. I am loved. I am capable. I'm healthy. I'm inspired. So that's the first part of the affirmation. Then you have to add on what I call a demonstration. So how are you happy? How are you peaceful? How are you loved, capable, healthy, inspired? What do you do to bring these things into your life every day? Because you can't say, I am happy, and then you create a day filled with just unhappy and horrible experiences. That's not going to work. You can't say, I am loved, and not love other people, because what you give out comes back to you. And I'll share 3 specific examples of affirmations for caregivers that I'm going to talk about and how to make these work, which is the bigger question. People say, well, oh my gosh, do affirmations work? Should I really spend my time on this? Am I spinning my wheels? Am I wasting time? Is this going to be worth the effort? Well, if you're doubtful or uncertain, what I can say, again, is that affirmations have a lot in common with daily prayer, daily meditations, whatever you want to call this. It's really jump-starting your belief system, jump-starting your mindset to have more positive things happen in your life. One of my most favorite clients in the whole wide world said to me, and we were talking specifically about prayer, she said, Pamela, God doesn't give you everything you pray for. All your prayers are not going to be answered. You have to do the work. So with affirmations, prayers, meditations, whatever you want, you have to put effort into it. So do affirmations work? Do prayers work? Does meditation work? Well, it depends on you. You make it work. What you're willing to do makes your prayer, makes your affirmation, makes your meditation come into reality. Now, I will say that sometimes there can be outside circumstances all over the place, regardless of what you believe in. God, a higher power, whatever, that can make affirmations a little more difficult to achieve, or maybe it takes longer than you wish, or longer than you expect. So let's do a little expectation settings. Affirmations are not going to change your life overnight, in a week, in a month. You may have to continue your affirmations for a month, 3 months, 5 months, 7 months, 10 months. You may have to revise them in the middle, because until you truly believe and you feel in your body that this is what's happening, they're not going to happen. So let's start with affirmation example number 1. And this is a big one for caregivers because there is a lot of judgment in caregiving. Whether caregivers are judging other people or you are somebody else judging a caregiver in your family. Affirmation number 1. I release judgment and focus on creating the change that I want to see in myself. I release judgment and focus on creating the change I want to see in myself. This is a 2-part information, a 2-part affirmation, a 2-part prayer, a 2-part meditation. I release judgment. This is gone. And I'm going to focus over here on the good. I focus on the good of creating the change I want to see in myself. Now, what you have to add on to the end of that is, what is the change you want to see in yourself? Be very specific. Don't be vague. Because, caution, 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 your affirmation can lead to change, but maybe not the type of changes that you had hoped for. So let's talk about abundance. Everybody wants abundance and wonderful things to come into their life, right? And so you say, well, I manifest abundance into my life. Well, what kind of abundance? Happiness, joy, a good family, a good job, good friends. The challenge is if you don't believe you deserve this specific type of abundance of good things, good friends, a good job, good family, good health, then you might manifest abundance, right? But it could be abundance of all of those things over here that you're worried about and that you don't want. You may manifest an abundance of negativity, more health problems, more relationship problems, more anxiety, more worry. So with the idea of affirmations and prayers and meditations, you manifest what you believe and you think about up here. So part of this is training your mind to release the bad and bring in the good. Release the bad, bring in the good. I release judgment. I focus on creating the change I want to see in myself, to think positive thoughts throughout the day, and release the judgment and release the negativity. Now, that affirmation can have a different meaning for every person, again, because you know more of what you want more of and what you want less of. Now, if you don't see yourself as somebody who judges or has opinions about other people, then that affirmation's not for you. I have two more that might fall in line that you might resonate with. So let's just talk about judgment a little bit more. Examples of judgment statements. Mom and Dad are so stubborn. My brothers and sisters, they are worthless because I ask for their help and they never help me care for Mom and Dad. Oh, those people at the doctor's office, they are so never helpful. Well, if you believe these things, what do you think you're going to get? Mom and Dad are going to continue to be stubborn. Your brothers or sisters, not helpful at all. People at the doctor's office, no way are they going to help you, because that's what you're affirming. That's what you're praying. That's what you're manifesting. You got to go all the way to the opposite to make this work. So let's talk about objective statements and subjective statements, because this may help you understand this a little better. So the tricky part of these judgment statements, Mom and Dad are so stubborn, oh my gosh, it can be subjective. It can be based on your opinions and your feelings and your emotions. Oh, they're just so stubborn. Versus objective, meaning you have facts and evidence to prove that they're stubborn. Now, let's look at this for a minute. Mom and Dad are stubborn. Stubborn in whose definition? Your definition of stubborn, because they won't do what you want, or their definition of stubborn because they want to be independent and do what they want. So two people can have opposing views to the definition of a word. Stubborn can mean something very different to you than it does to me, or your elderly parents, or your grandparents, or somebody at work. Your aging parents may believe that what you see as stubbornness is very reasonable to them. You feel that your observations about stubbornness are accurate because Mom and Dad may not do what you want them to do. So both sides feel that they're right, which is why releasing judgment about who's right, who's wrong, I disagree with them, Those are bad people because they live across the street, and only the people that live on this side of the street are good people. Those people are bad, right? We judge people for crazy things. We judge ourselves. So in this case, the affirmation for caregivers. I release judgment. I focus on creating the change I want to see in myself, which is to understand why someone may have an opposite opinion than myself. I'm actually going to ask them. I'm going to have a conversation about it. Instead of judging and saying, oh, they're different from me. Oh, they're wrong. I'm going to take and make the time to understand. Because judging it involves having an opinion about something or someone, and usually not in a very good way. When we don't like someone or we disagree with something, thoughts, actions, processes, whatever, we don't like this because of X, Y, or Z, right? We feel negative emotions. So judgment and negativity kind of go together. And that negative emotion can definitely affect the way that we respond to that process we don't like, or the rule we don't like, or the person that has a different opinion that we don't like. And then we may go to an extreme of saying, well, I don't want to spend time with that person because they don't think like I do. I don't want to spend time with the people who live on the other side of the street because, this side of the street are all cool people, and those people, no good. Well, and I also want to say, before somebody puts a comment up, this exclusion of people from your life, okay? It excludes people who are mentally or physically abusive or toxic. Those people, get them out of your life. Remove yourself from their life. That is not healthy for you. If that's what your situation is, no affirmation, no prayer, no meditation is going to change the actions of somebody else. Affirmations, prayers, meditations, they're for us here in our hearts, in our minds, in our bodies. You know this. You like somebody. They make you feel happy. You want to spend more time with them. Positive emotions are so much better than the negative emotions that we want to start questioning if we want to give up judgment. We may need to go deep inside ourselves to say, why do I disagree with that? Am I stuck in my thinking? What's triggering that emotion? Why do I feel that way? And is this a reasonable way to feel? So in this case, simply saying, I release judgment and focus on creating the change I want to see in my life, it can mean becoming more tolerant of people with different opinions and beliefs. It can mean releasing judgment and just blessing people who think differently. You don't have to agree with them. Just, oh, God bless them. God bless me. Give me the grace to be a positive person. It can mean remaining in a conversation with somebody, in your family or somebody at work that you disagree with, to try to understand where they're coming from so that you can stay in this relationship if it's important to you, or if it's a work relationship and you have to get along with these people. Seek to understand versus judge. Sometimes affirmations, if you don't believe them 100% and you're trying to get yourself from A to Z over here, I'm trying to move along the path, right? Move along the path. Sometimes you do need those affirmations to get a jump start, just to get you going. Even if it's something that you want, but you're not quite sure if you can do it, you're not quite sure if you believe in it. Saying daily affirmations is kind of like putting that key in the ignition of your car, or pressing the button to start your car, depending on the age of your car, to take you in a new direction, right? You get in the car, you're going somewhere. Put the key in, press the button, start the car, get your mind ready to go somewhere positive. Affirmations translate to this desire to think differently, act differently in response to all of these external circumstances that are continually bombarding you. People, interactions, events, the news you hear on TV, you're driving in traffic, you're in a line at the grocery store. So much outside stimulation coming at you that you react to, which we all react to, right? So let's talk about stages of affirmations, prayers, meditations, whatever you want to call it. that relate to a desire to improve ourselves, to initiate some change in our lives, right? So, first of all, if you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to do it. If you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. If you don't have a daily plan to achieve something that you want to do, you're not going to do it. So, you have to believe, you have to have a desire and the motivation, and you need a plan. Just saying the words is not going to work, which is why so many people get disappointed by affirmations. They're like, well, I've been saying this statement for every day for 6 months. I'm like, well, do you believe in it? What are you doing to make it happen? How are you demonstrating this thing every day in your life? People are like, well, I'm not. I'm just saying it. I expect it to happen. Doesn't work that way, okay? This is stage 1 of affirmations for caregivers, and creating affirmations is there's something you want to change. Habit, belief, action, whatever's holding you back. And the challenge is that that thing that's holding you back can have you feel stuck and have you kind of like sabotaging your daily demonstrations or your actions to get from A to Z. So you got to believe and you have to want it. Let's look at affirmation number 2 to help this make a little more sense. I am compassionate and patient with myself. I forgive everything. I don't hold any grudges. I set healthy boundaries. So what on earth does compassion mean? So compassion means being aware of your own distress. I'm worried about this. I'm anxious about this. I'm stressed. I feel like I made a big mistake. So first of all, it's being kind to yourself to say, you know what? Everybody feels anxious now and then. Everybody has worries now and then. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? But you want to move past this. Compassion also means having compassion for other people who are in similarly distressful situations. And then we add on to that, it's a desire to help ourselves or help somebody else. Now, compassion in a caregiving situation can mean being extremely honest, radically honest about what is going on, who's contributing, what are the problems, how did we get here? What do I want? What don't I want? What do they want? What don't they want? And how do we work through this? Oh my gosh. So it could mean for you as a caregiver, I'm compassionate and patient with myself. I forgive everything and everyone, and I set healthy boundaries. So what are those healthy boundaries for yourself? Does that mean less time, less involvement, less financial contribution? For your parent, what does that mean? Does it mean that you want your parents to do more for themselves? To get there, you have to start talking about this. So, affirmation. I am compassionate and patient with myself. I forgive everything, everyone, and I set healthy boundaries. That can lead you to daily demonstrations and daily actions and a daily commitment to make some pretty difficult choices about being a caregiver and what you're going to do for this person who needs care. Being compassionate also means understanding where they are and the fact that if you start backing off and you start doing less, they're going to get a little anxious, they're going to get a little worried, but it also gives them the opportunity to say, okay, maybe I need to make some changes in my life. Maybe I need to start thinking more positively. Maybe I need to do some prayer, affirmations, meditation, whatever it is. Okay? Affirmation example number 3. I release expectations and I set boundaries to balance my life. So these two, number 2 and number 3, are kind of similar because one is saying I'm compassionate and patient with myself and I set boundaries. The second one is I release expectations and I set boundaries. So expectations and compassion can be a little similar. There can be a little crossover. And this is a great affirmation. So if you are a caregiver who feel like you've just become too involved and you're doing too much and you're too burdened with all these responsibilities and duties, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to continue to do this? I can't do this. Great affirmation for you. I release expectations about myself, about other people. These are the boundaries that I'm going to start setting. So to get there, the whole stage 2 in this affirmation process is the demonstration, the daily actions. So if you want to fulfill the belief and achieve the goal of, I release my expectations and I set boundaries to balance my life, tie those with daily actions. So start with yourself. What expectations do you have for yourself? Are they reasonable? Are they practical? Or are you driving yourself into the ground trying to make everybody else happy? Are you harming your health by what you're saying? I have to do this every day. Nobody else can do it. This is just what's expected. This is my life. Has the fun and joy disappeared from your life? Is your job not going well? Your marriage not going well? You're not paying attention to your children. Other relationships are not going well. Honestly, nothing in your life is going very well because you have all these expectations of all these things that you have to do. Well, I can tell you the 80-20 rule. You keep doing 20% of them, let the other 80% go. They're not going to have much of an effect. So you have to begin looking at what the expectations you have of yourself and identifying what is reasonable and practical. If I have all these expectations, what are the most important ones? What are the top 20% that have the biggest results, right? Then you go to the person you care for, aging parent, spouse, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, and you ask them about their expectations for themselves and then their expectations for you. Now, you might be really surprised about what they say. They may be like, you know what? I expect you to do everything for me. I just want to sit back in this cushy chair and watch TV and eat potato chips and do whatever I want to do, and you're just going to take care of everything. Well, that is going to come to a crushing halt. So you just ask your parents, hey, what are your expectations of managing your own life, and what are your expectations of me? Then you can actually go to your siblings and have the same conversation. You could go to people at your work and have the same conversation. And then when these people respond, basically what you do is you match up their expectations with yours. Look at the gap. There may be a small gap. There may be a huge gap. Then you figure out how to close the gap. Honestly, I recommend having expectation settings with everybody in your life. Your boss at work, your spouse, your children, your friends, because having clear expectations and boundaries really helps support positive relationships. It's going to take the stress out of your life. It will take the uncertainty out of your life. Now, you may not like the outcome of some of these conversations, but at least you've had them and you know what you're working with, right? Because it's when we don't know, when there's all this uncertainty out there and we're thinking, well, are they thinking this? Are they thinking that? What on earth are they thinking? And they're thinking the same of you, right? You got to put it down on paper. You got to come to the same page. And then you go from there. So, stage 3 of the affirmation process is revising your affirmations and again, chunking them into 2 steps or stages. And it's important because if you start saying affirmations and nothing's happening and you don't feel like you're making progress, well, you're probably going to quit, right? It's kind of like going on a diet and you don't lose any weight in the first week and you're like, well, what good is all this effort? Nothing's happening. Again, nothing is going to happen in a week. Maybe not 2 weeks, maybe not a month, maybe not 3 months. Daily practice is important. So if you set an affirmation, meditation, prayer, and it's too much of reach, right? You come in the middle somewhere and you find something that you can do. Now, as I mentioned before, sometimes the universe, whatever you believe in, God, spirits, angels, whatever, the universe may be like, you know what, you're not going to be able to do this right now. It's going to take you 6 months. It's going to take you 12 months. Well, that's why you kind of revise your affirmations. You got to believe that you can achieve the goal. It's got to be small enough and chunked up enough so that you can do it. So break them into two. So let's go back to the first one. I release judgment over here. I focus on creating the change I want to see in myself, which is becoming more patient with people, suspending judgment until I understand what somebody else is thinking. So what you could do for the first part is I release judgment. Every time you immediately judge somebody, it's like, whoa, 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 stop that. I bless this person. I bless myself. Okay? Then think about the second part. I focus on creating the change I want in my life. So, practical application. You judge somebody, you recognize it, you stop yourself, bless both of you. Your next thought is, I'm going to create this change. I will spend 30 minutes today working on X. I will schedule time to talk to this person about why they believe what they believe and ask if I can share what I believe so we can come to some common understanding. It's not like we both have to agree on everything, but if we at least understand where we don't agree and we're willing to work with each other and be flexible and compassionate, then you grow in your relationship skills. You grow in what is called emotional intelligence because you can understand that other people may not always agree with you. Wow, that's a hard one. Everybody doesn't agree with everybody. Wow, that's pretty common. The same steps and the same process apply to the second affirmation. I am compassionate and patient with myself. I forgive everything and I set healthy boundaries to do X. And the third one, similar to number 2, but it focuses on expectations. So I release the expectations in my life and I set boundaries to balance. Now, in all of these, you have to, again, have the confidence that you can achieve it. You got to have enough self-esteem in yourself that I'm confident and you know what, I can release these expectations. I can set some boundaries. I can be kind to other people. I can ask somebody why they think what they think without feeling threatened. The focus here is all of these 3 in this video, can help you move toward a more balanced relationship wherever you are. And the moment that you feel a relationship getting lopsided, look at your participation, right? And it could be a friendship, a situation at work, a caregiving relationship, doesn't matter what it is. What's your participation? Have you become needy, right? Do you need approval from this other person? Have you become over-controlling such that you want to control the relationship? You want to control what you do, where you meet, how you have phone calls, all of that. I talk to a lot of caregivers who are they're like, oh, Pamela, God, I'm so burned out. I can't deal with this anymore. Yet, they don't want to put in place any type of support, whether it's finding a volunteer to help out, hiring caregivers for aging parents, joining a support group. They don't want to do anything. They just want to complain. Well, that doesn't work. So you can't say that you set healthy boundaries in your life if you don't do something every day to set a healthy boundary. All of this takes practice. Making your affirmations into reality and your prayers and your meditations takes work. They only happen if you do the work to make them come true. And then again, God, the universe, whatever, can have a lot of different plans for you. So I thank you so much for being here, staying with me to the end. Those of you who did, thank you so much. I'm Pamela D Wilson, caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. Information about me and how I help caregivers and individuals is below this video. My personal background of almost 25 years working in the industry, links to my website, services on my website, ways to schedule one-on-one consultations with me, it's all there. Please again do like this video, follow my channel, share these videos with other people you know. Looking for hope, help, and support? Comment below, even if it's only to say thanks. Your little one thank you makes a difference to so many people out there. I will see you all again soon in another video, and do come back this week because the next video is actually the affirmation video that the caregiver asked me to do. This was the why should I bother doing affirmation video. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you for being here.